everybody, and welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show. This is Eduardo, joined by the ever lovely Layla, who's gonna, well, let's do the run of show as we usually do.
Oh, Eduardo, what a good day to be here on the pre-show, because it is what time? It is 5:40 p.m. Pacific. That means in 20 minutes, you will see Ascension itself, and then you'll come right back to us to have a little chat about what just happened. We are here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Ascension is here every weekday. You know this, we know this, but Eduardo, in case they don't know this, what is Ascension?
Well, Silent Hill Ascension isn't just where you can see coordinated dress-ups from your favorite hosts. It's also a socially interactive streaming series where all of you collectively shape and experience its ever-evolving story. You collaborate and compete with others to try to make the choices you want to see occur. When the decision ends, that choice locks in as canon. That's the version of the show everyone sees, lives through, experiences, locked in blood, ink, whatever you want to call it. It's that canon story is shaped by you, the participating audience, every day. And we're going to show in our setup scene video one of those, because Britt faces off against her personal demons in a final encounter. Very much came down to the collective sum of all your decisions of the audience. Let's look again at where Britt's final fate ended up. Please enjoy.
Astrid? Shit. What the hell?
Would you like to share anything with the group today? Britt?
Yeah, I do. I helped my sister Ava kill my friends. I led them right to her. And then I led myself right into a bottle. I thought I was running away from what I did, from my family, from my past. I was running from myself. But now I've realized all the shit that's happened to me, what I've done. I needed to just sit with it and hope I can finally forgive myself, because I'm done running.
Thank you for sharing, Britt.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a chance to, well, again, see that Britt was redeemed. It was definitely the outcome a lot of you in the audience wanted. You got it. Now, before we enter into that discussion, our iconic scene of the week, production's going to put that up on your screen. This is where Astrid makes her decision about Hagen, and also where Britt comes to Astrid to set things right, but everything isn't as it seems. And of course, in that scene, other Britt was taking control a little bit there. But Layla, we got to see that again, where Britt's redeemed. She did it by embracing other Brit. That didn't really seal the deal, so to speak, but it was a collective sum of decisions that were made by the audience, keeping her hope up, that in the end made Brit capable of being redeemed. The collector just looking on, going like a little few fingers that I can't quite get those fingers right there.
No, something, I think, you're a collector yourself. Not the collector, but a collector of things. So I think you intimately know the pain of wanting something such as perhaps fingers and not being able to get them. Personally speaking, I like that the ending, I think the chat said this too, but it was pretty evocative of Evangelion, or Neon Genesis at least. And I do like that, because the only thing I can think about now is if Britt had made like her father and sailed off to Bergen, we could have said, get in the rowboat, Britt. Get in the robot, get in the room. And that is the kind of high class of referential entertainment you can get here on the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show.
It's all good. It's all good. I focusing as well on the scene playing back, when Astrid said it's for the best, I'm going to use one of your phrases, Layla. Reasonable people may disagree. I'm sure audience was not very happy to see kind of that, like, I don't know. Is it a breakup or is it a see you later? That was, a little bit left ambiguous. Ambiguity is pretty key in the kind of our Norway story last week.
It's how do I put this? It's a circumstance up. It's a priority up. It's a hold on. I don't, listen. Haugen had those U-Haul keys jingling and jangling in her hands. She was ready to go. She was wielding a shotgun for that woman. So in my heart of hearts, I want to believe, I do, that that it's not over for the two of them. But I will say it does just seem like Astrid was reacting to the situation and maybe not wanting to see her girlfriend, I don't know, stabbed by her 6-year-old. I feel like that's reasonable.
It is, and you can all be hopeful that the child will at some point die. It is a horror show. Now, let's look at the decision closing this day. Production's going to put that up on screen because we're going to move to last week. We saw Britt's final fate. It was a big week, but today we got somebody else's final fate coming up. And Layla, if you could introduce us to what's at play.
Oh, what will Eric do about Rachel's plan? Final fate decision, everybody. But what choice is which? You got to execute Rachel's plan. You got warn the victims, and you got leave Rachel to the fanatics.
So one of the things that was interesting, we'll get into this in the post show, is a lot of the decisions were, are now hidden. Actually, a lot of you still ended up choosing redemption, and we'll get into that. But it's a different thing, right? Before, there's this discussion of, we wanted to see different outcomes. A lot of you were choosing redemption, like by the slightest of margins, getting it through, and now it's not as clear. I can see that with the what will Eric do about Rachel's plans, because the decision here is very split. Leave Rachel and Fanatics kind of behind. Could get there with 26%, but probably not. And really, we have this battle between execute Rachel's plans and warn the victims, and it's very neck and neck.
It is. We had Sake Pinwitty in the chat just now saying that which one is, I think it was something along the lines of like, which one is the one where he screws things up? We'll choose that one. Not a lot of faith in Eric there. But yeah, I'm genuinely surprised that the choices are all that close right now. But I guess that's the result of us hiding which one the redemption path is. But who's to say? We don't know. I genuinely don't know because I forgot.
That's fair. But it is a representative of Eric's character. Always indecisive when it comes to anything revolving around his, ex-wife. I guess the divorce papers didn't come through.
Separated, so like wife.
Ex-wife to be. It's kind of like the reverse of a fiance. Still a happy time. Now, that's the thing, though, here is really, though, the difference here is compared to Britt, Eric's hope is not that great. So you'll probably have to keep that in mind, audience, if you were a fan of Eric. I know in the audience there are people who aren't fans of Eric, who are happy his hope is low. So that's actually kind of an interesting distinction there.
Yeah, we have seen people flip-flop on how they feel about Eric, whether or not they liked him, or then they turned on him when they found out that maybe he had to like convince Rachel to have faith. And so people have come back around on him since we had his wonderful voice actor on the show, and he charmed us all to death. Now who's to say what the final fate will be? You are to say. But now we can go to Pennsylvania to talk about the story so far. Production, if you would not mind throwing up that graphic for me so I can walk us through. In Pennsylvania, Eric reveals the truth about what his role is in the steel mill accident. Finally, a reveal. Rachel devises a plan to protect Faith from harm and insists Eric must enact it. That is what that choice is about. And then Eric tells Krista how he really feels about the two of them. So a lot of interpersonal drama, family drama, relationship drama, really all coming to a head. And this summary doesn't even mention Nora having to react to the Hernandez family being complicit in the death of her brother. A lot going on.
That's fair, but I think Nora will get her. There's a question of like, will Nora get her just desserts? Justice is complicated. Does she want something to happen to the Hernandez family? Honestly, she really seemed like she just wanted the truth, and we started getting it at the very as we're nearing the end of our story. We started to get it. I still want to shout out though, even separate. Rachel's still yeah, Eric, you do the dirty work. I don't want to get involved in this. You do it.
Yeah, she really did say, get up there and re-traumatize yourself for the cause, which I get. But also, hey Rachel, why can't you push the button? Why is Eric gotta do it? Why can't Eric distract the fanatics and protect Faith? Why does he have to relive the worst day of his life? And you get to just vibe.
Yeah, just as the muck says. Now I did like the scene. One thing though, I did like the scene with kind of Eric and Krista there. He's kind of look, at the end of the day, there's only one person I really kind of like, and that person is my daughter. It's my ex-wife, not a fan. You, not that big a fan either. My daughter, though, I'm I have to be in her corner. And from start to finish, Eric's story really being that fodder. And I actually thought with that interview as well, with our guest voice actor that came on, Ian Guerra. I thought that was actually key. He also mentioned Eric as a fodder. That was to me, that's the defining characteristic of the character.
Yeah, I think I agree. Sorry, I'm distracting. I am distracting. Artemis Sario says, Eduardo giving us a hint. Are you giving them a hint, Eduardo?
I don't know.
Genuinely doesn't know. But it's funny. I'm distracted by the chat because just the amount of visceral emotion coming at both Eric and Rachel right now is you're flashing bright yellow across the bottom of my screen, right? And it's man, how do you guys really feel?
Yeah, I do like that Rainimer is the kid, this. I don't want to talk about Eric and Rachel, the kids. They should be abandoned. I like it. I like the crew, yeah, ditch the kids. It's a different take, but given those kids, sometimes you have to check, because of how Faith and Orson can behave. But one of the things, Layla, with Norway's story is it is paralleling with our story in Pennsylvania. So let's take one look at what happened there, kind of give us context into Pennsylvania. So that'll be up on screen by production.
Yeah, so over in Norway, other Brit attacks Astrid, and the truth behind Brit's involvement in the violence Ava enacted is revealed. Brit faces off against her personal demons in a final encounter, and we're going to go right back up to the top as Brit goes to Astrid with promises to set things right, but everything isn't as it seems because of the aforementioned attack. Man, a lot happened in that short span of time, right? Because other Brit took Astrid to the fountain, tried to kill her, and then Nils showed up, and then Brit had to go take care of herself, and got in the rowboat, as it were. And it's nice to see her confront what she did, right? Because she was an accomplice to Ava's violence, whether she intended to be or not. And I think having her come to terms with that is a good send off, because she still has to live with that guilt, right? She still has to process it, but at least she's on the path.
Yeah, and one of the differences I think with Brit, let's bring up another character, Toby, because Toby never got to defeat alcoholism fundamentally, right? He kind of just died with it. That was part of the coping process. Whereas Britt managed it. I think it's fair with Britt being redeemed and kind of like where the path ended. She was time tested, time and time again. And every time the audience decided, no, she's getting through this trial. So Britt was a big thing. So, and that parallel with Toby, and I think that's the biggest parallel with Pennsylvania and Norway is like, they're both handling their trauma, but the Pennsylvania crew just seems to kind of run with it and results be damned and just do it. Whereas the Norway crew, they're like, no, we're going to deal with our problems long term.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? I feel like Britt had a couple of years of recovery on Toby because Britt made the choice to want to recover, and Toby was very purposefully running away from his problems and actively trying to drown them in a lot of beer, presumably Yingling or something of the sort. That's the difference there, isn't it? That you have to choose to want to take the steps to recover. And Toby never gave himself that opportunity and therefore did not have time to deal with that issue before he tragically passed. F's in the chat, please.
For sure. And it's something to remember because as we're heading into Eric's final fate, you can't help but like look at the profile starting to look similar, right? Low hope, redemption path. And
brothers in arms.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to see how the scenes play out, but like one can't help but compare those two characters. They were friends. One of the biggest things I think where Eric started as the hero is because he defended Toby. Like him coming to the scene and going like, fuck you to the bar and basically defending his best buddy was like why people liked them. Liked them last after some group activities, and then came back to liking with the voice actors, kind of seesawing. But the big part about Eric, right, is it is resembling a little bit Toby's path. And we're going to kind of see the conclusion of that path, well, very soon, right? That final fate decision. And by the way, before we're going to our show, Execute Rachel's Plan is leading by 2%. Now, the exact number of influence points is about 600,000. So you got, audience, you got about 9-ish minutes on that. After that, Eric's final fate stamp seal done. You get to see it. But there we go. Layla, the show's going to start soon. Technically, it was for me to recap, but I'd like you to recap because you do it so well, honestly.
Well, Eduardo, here's the thing. We are coming to a hydra of heads. And when you chop one off, the two more sprout up from the corpse. And that's the thing here on Silent Hill Ascension is we are coming to a point where we're going to see what's going to happen with the Hernandez family. We're going to maybe find out what happened to Nora's brother for real. I know the audience is clamoring to see our good boy Tobes again. And, the steel mill mystery at the heart of this whole conflict will finally come and reveal itself to us. Meanwhile, in Norway, the Johansson family has shrunken to functionally just now Astrid and Orson, with Britt nowhere to be found and Carl just like vacationing in Bergen somewhere. And now they have to choose what that family looks like and also, free Orson from his chomping affliction. So we got a lot going on in both places. We just said goodbye to Britt. We're on our way to say something to Eric, who's to say. Eduardo, I'm so happy to be here with you while all that's happening. Do you have any final words for the good people?
Well, the final words are enjoy the show because we'll be back after anyways. So we get to do some final words later, but right now, Eric's the one who's going to have to do those. So we're going to sign off for now. We'll let you enjoy the show. We'll break it all down with you, the audience. So please don't go anywhere. Enjoy the show. We'll see you right after. Take care.